and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different... Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something was... Wait! Why would you write all this down?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the magic troupe members are currently... The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Font. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure when the work... The magic troupe members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. Simply put, she wasn't related to the magic troupe at all.
Were the victims of previous...
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around...
Okay, then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see them, it is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom...
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out...
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Lini and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Lini used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it...
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation. In other words, Lini knew who would be sitting...
That much checks out.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Lini.
Even though it's bad for...
Go ahead, have a look around. In the end, we're...
I see that you're investigating the area. If you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis?
The thud? Oh, you mean...
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lini's trick with bated breath. So no one paid it much...
That makes sense.
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lini's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing.
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard too...
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough land. Oh, that's true.
That does remind Paimon.
Lini's still talking to the guards. Let's see. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later. Lini's still talking to the guards. I think someone will be Lini's still talking to the guard. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you!
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to...
Well, you're right on the more about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, and I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me...
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus, Demoiselle's various daily needs.
Huh? Boss, that was it.
well...
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, Bob?
No need. You don't have to call me boss.
Okay, if you say so.
All merely trifling details. Never mind, that's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial discipline. Judging from the look of things...
Really? We think so too! That's why we... But how did you come...
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled... Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Lini without any But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the Justice had to interrupt... Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And...
Sounds more like you just don't...
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times. All right, I've answered your question.
Wait a minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't, in your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's...
Well?
And why would that be? See, so...
Most astute of you, Demoiselle. I too, no matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience is, that if that can be done...
All right, that's quite enough, Melus. Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our...
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant.
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but you wish to save a friend from false accusation.
You have a point. And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you...
I have nothing to add.
Oh,
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let...
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the
no, we're not leaving. Were you always guarding this?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone cut. So the missing girl couldn't have left from here. I doubt there was much opportunity.
How can you be so sure?
Well, because I couldn't see Lini's performance from here. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the we Melazines are good.
So, it's safe to say the girl could... Alright, thank you for your help. This'll... We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Lini's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a road.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just...
You've arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a... Sorry, I got a little carried away. And these are my companions. Would you mind if...
Find my...
Oh, new helpers?
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to...
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic, remembering the details of a trick. Ah, good eye. That's
the back? You mean the
Very good indeed. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's go.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it as the 2 magic boxes are positioned right up. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to...
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the...
I see. So that's the purpose...
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone...
And what about Lynette?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of...
Oh,
That's how we were able to coordinate Lini's lines with the assistant. And...
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's... And that's my favorite part of this trick.
So that's how it all worked! Wow!
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing... And yet, to think that someone... Could we have a look around? I think we can come up...
This is the scene of the crime. So Lini and Lynette are not...
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different...
Whatever it is.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those... And here's a broken vase!
That can't be.
Let's know...
Oh, these are the clothes. Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere.
Right! And do you real... Ugh, this is so What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Could this...
Alone, perhaps.
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right! Let Paimon write that... Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of... Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal...
They believe the odds of that are very low. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance.
So the tunnel's become like a secret chamber then!
The plot thickens. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless...
Charges and then trial. So
that's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice... That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own...
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make... Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides?
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come... yes, the guards also asked me to convey...
Huh? What?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, and even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if...
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks that...
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all...
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to... I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some...
Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. Just kidding! Just kidding! Paimon will still do her best.
What do you mean, no snacks?
Huh?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselles.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty beating?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books. Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also... Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the oven.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send...
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black... No need for concern. I merely do...
All right then. Down to business. However, we can assume that Lini and Lynette were not alone within it. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real...
True. None of the clues we found, but the only people left to consider are...
Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the map?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any...
Were we not thorough enough in our... From the sound of things, this is turning into an Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell good.
They are my specialty, after all.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be...
Please don't worry about it. At my...
No. Being greedy is one. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then maybe...
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten loose. Set up the stove again, if you would.
Huh? What are you...
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble...
As you wish, Demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Well, this really is your hobby.
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to... I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. It would be awkward if you got all...
All right, thanks for your help, and for the snack.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malouse, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial.
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects, besides, I doubt Farina understands anymore.
Thanks, Navia.
Well, best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that...
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? That was to be expected, of course. The guilt, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most...
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show... Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and...
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates...
Thank you, Mr. Lini. In that case, I take you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the...
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Lini is clearly locked. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Hall.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption.
Oh, is that so? And if I may...
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for...
And you didn't hear anything else at all?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. Once...
Huh?
Hey, hang on!
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the...
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my... Tell me, aren't you and the...
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that... Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little... The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting. Oh, good thing I made all those preparations.
Hey, Lini, why didn't you tell us...
Order! Order! Mr. Lini, allow me to reestablish. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, are these claims true? Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentence.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorney.
Order! Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This...
So you would stick to Mr. Lini's defense even in that case. My dear audience, let...
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think... I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon doesn't know where to start. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't meant to set the wrong tone or anything. But
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just... But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers...
Right now, we want to save people. As many as...
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you. But the truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need. Right. So, you be the judge. You met a Fatus who works as a magician. A trick, but still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no...
Sorry. Please.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first.
Of course. I'll answer any question. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting...
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to... So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the...
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was... Which should have been impossible, of course. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution, and on the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. But the countdown was up. After that, the homicide occurred just as you...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. It was never my wish to proceed under this but like I said earlier, you can be the judge.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay,
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a Huh? Oh,
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Lini acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction.
That took long enough. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Lini's perspective. Countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught. So Lini proceeded to knock him out too before. Afterward, Lini passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that... And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Lini experienced and what he saw. Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal. Seems this won't produce a particularly According to Lini, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey. Seems... Seems this won't produce a Seem... Seem... Lini went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth. Lini did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lini did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is, once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic, finally, he reached the surface. And that was when the accident... Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe that he knew
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Carol hadn't entered, assuming that what you say is true, Lini only needed to kidnap the young girl to...
Oh, they have a...
That's right, you tell him! And that's why the... Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box, you're saying that he wasn't?
Now, this means that when the crime happened, Lini had the same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof!
Well played. To think you'd use such luck. Well then, if it wasn't Lini who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that... The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved? The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's...
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious?
Oh, is that so? How?
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be... No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's assistant. He would have been... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So there must... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey... The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Lini as well. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrance. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Lini. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where would the criminal... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where... The deceased's name is Cowell. It Would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Lini as well. Lini was not in the tunnel at that moment, which... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Lini was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lini's assistant. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. The vase was not broken by chance.
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes. If there's a similar method...
Oh, just how could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we really? I should think that of anyone. You magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be... Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the...
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water.
The primordial seed.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that the notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which one of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that, as such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving...
Could something so ridiculous...
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tanks really... Just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your part?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic. Guards, please continue examining the items along. Mr. Lini, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course. Thank you. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case...
Right! Like the metal hook! Let's think about about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that.
The water from the primordial sea should... The deceased's name is Cowell. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and snapped. The water from the primordial sea should... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. Now it seems like the hook rope was not... The rope that held the water tank up was lit... Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else within...
It's Ace Detective in the original plan. Cowell would tamper with the water. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually when the balloon attached to the box popped. Though afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank.
Huh. That actually links together a lot of the more...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think there's some...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be...
On that note, the guards have just contacted. I shall now invite him on stage to share...
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial...
What?
That can't be. Oh, I see. Well, what does this not clear? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, Lini did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via having made modifications to the props beforehand. His accomplice, but upon his return, in cruel avarice, ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Seems using the water as new evidence was too good.
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample... I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good, noble chief...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must
Miss, I must ask you not to...
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who... What in the world is she...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often can... Once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to... Come on, Lini and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final...
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, that I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me.
That'll teach you.
Where should I begin?
What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. I heard that Lini's show was gonna be a real thriller, but that's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So Lini even mentioned that you were pretty...
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number select... He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped in. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and... There was nowhere to run from there, though. So I had to change my clothes, and I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian. Seems this won't produce a particular... The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to... The flower vase was... Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid.
And it's instant! Having been selected out of the blue, Lily, her panic only intensified after hearing the commotion, Cowl leapt into the tub. He did not know that Lillian was not mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid. She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped.
At this point, all the events.
Ah, so.
Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you... Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet...
What, are you reading? No, I have no further...
Wow! Look at that!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his with some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause... He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope, and burst. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Liliane was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud... Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Liliane. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. Liliane, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts. As for Lini, he was in the underground structures within the opera. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Lini... While there is much in Lini and Liliane's conduct that should... This case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Lini and Lynette.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Lini?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know!
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Lini. I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your...
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one...
I was just following. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Lini, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the...
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a... Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know.
Yes! Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which, when extremely diluted, can cause people to... We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lini...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even... But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a... I guess. But I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because that was how Father, who you might know as the
knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth?
That's right. And since we're here, I was back when our parents first died. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular. and we could at least stop worrying about work. Before long, an aristocrat came to me.
So you went from
That was how we felt at first, too. As if, but I gradually discovered that while we were called, he would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took a while for me. After one particular performance at a banquet, I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift.
Oh no. But wouldn't Fontaine's...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption, or... I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and hurried through. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the nave.
So, she'd already taken...
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm. The knave. The House of the Hearth welcomes you. For your interests align. I was hesitant to trust her, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined.
She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power.
So, she believes in that
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. To us orphans, the only connection we...
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to...
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as... If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Lini!
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who... And given that there's new evidence for...
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. Sorry.
Don't say that, Navi.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing... sorry about that. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal?
Huh? Do we really need to get that for...
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it's...
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if Boss...
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the...
All right, then.